Hello everybody, Nerdy Friend here, and I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you the story of Rap Rat, the Creepypasta. I'm pretty sure that's the title anyways. I tried to find a better source than Creepypasta wiki for this story, but sadly I could not locate one. So I'll be reading it from the Creepypasta wiki page. I honestly don't know why anybody bothered making a Rap Rat Creepypasta, because, hello, look at it!
Lights, camera, action! Now you're looking at the star attraction. Yeah, I'm history in the making, and all yours for the taking. I'm talk of the town, the cold side of cool. I'm a legend in a lunchtime. I'm a oncer in a lifetime. Got an A in attitude and lots of ratitude. I'm a rat-a-tat, rat. Ooh, yeah. I ain't no cat on a mat, 'cause I know where it's at. I'm the thing with swing. Hey, da-da, ding-a-ling-ling.
That's the Rap Rat, apparently. Holy crap! Why wouldn't anybody get nightmares from this thing? Well, let's just jump into it. There's a couple subtitles in here that I see. I guess they're supposed to be different subjects for this story. I don't know. Alright, let's start it. The story of the Rap Rat. The terror begins. Ever heard of Nightmare? Like a lot of games in the 90s, it came with a VHS which you timed with your play. The character on the video would give you instructions on what to do while you played the game in real time. Being a scaredy cat, I refused to play it when my mom bought it for us. My brother was disappointed about not being able to play Nightmare, but my mom had a solution. She brought out Rap Rat. It was a cheap dinghy? I think that's supposed to say dingy. Anyways, dingy little thing catered to kids my age. If you went around the board, collected cheese, and the first player to reach the end would win. It seemed simple enough, and since it reminded us of Mousetrap, in parentheses it says which we didn't have, there were no objections. We popped the movie into the VHS and set up the board. The first part of the video was just a simple explanation of the rules as well as instructions on how the game worked. Then Rap Rat came to the TV. He was not what any of us had been expecting. My smaller brother, who was only 3 at the time, immediately left the room crying. The rat didn't even resemble a rat. The ears were far too big. It had a mouth lined with 2 teeth, and the inside of its mouth looked almost swollen. The most striking part about the thing, though, was the eyes. They were large, glassy, and fish-like. I asked, then bothered, then begged my mom to turn it off. Rap Rat suddenly shouted loudly, screaming and wailing, saying, "Wait your turn!" in a demonic, low-pitched voice that was not at all like his normal, obnoxious, nasal voice. In the background, we could hear the narrator saying, "He's Rap Rat, and he's the boss," over and over again in an overly serious tone. The video was indescribable. Images crossed the screen in quick succession, overcut with Rap Rat's expressionless eyes. The images were some of the things that I was afraid of at the time. A person looking over a balcony, a hornet slowly stinging someone's eye, an extreme close-up of a tarantula, a pit full of writhing cobras, and a bloodied syringe filled with green liquid. We immediately turned the video off, and I ran out of the room screaming, slamming my door. It took my mom 20 minutes to convince me that the video was gone, that I would never, ever see it again. I had nightmares all week about Rap Rat. That wasn't the last time I saw Rap Rat. While my girlfriend and I were preparing to move in together, I was cleaning out the closet of my room and found Rap Rat again. With the same VHS and the same board game inside. It was almost perfectly intact, save for a thick layer of cobwebs and dust bunnies on top of it. This was strange. Didn't my mother get rid of it? And what was the game doing in my room? I let out a bit of a gasp when I found it, and my girlfriend came in the room asking what was the matter. Breathing harshly, I said, "Rap rat." She laughed a bit, asking if it was a joke. I shook my head, explaining that it wasn't. She didn't believe me. Nobody did. And I decided that the only way to prove it to her was to show her the video. I borrowed my neighbor's VHS and played the video for her. However, the images had changed. I saw a clown, its nose bursting and spraying blood onto the screen. I saw a woman alone in a dark room. I saw a man being forced to pick up white-hot metal and hold it in his outstretched hand, turning his hand into a leathery mess. The scratching I heard as a child continued, picking up louder and louder. Then Rap Rat showed up and began twisting and convulsing, its arms thrusting this way and that. The costume wasn't a costume anymore. The felt was real fur. Its face wasn't plastic, but instead a bristle of thorns and teeth. The eyes turned inwards and suddenly popped out again. Rap Rat's huge fish eyes were inside out, staring right at me, watching my every move, my every expression. It grinned widely and gestured at my girlfriend and I with a single outstretched inhuman hand. I could hear the faintest scratching at my door. The TV went blank and showed static. The scratching got louder. It wasn't scratching anymore, but thumping, the thumping of tiny feet on wood. My girlfriend embraced me with fear, and my senses kicked in. Before anything else could happen, I stopped the video, ejected it, and unplugged the VHS. The scratching stopped. When I looked out the living room window, nothing was there. The police showed up soon after, warning us that a neighbor had seen a figure outside of our door and called in concern. My girlfriend and I simply couldn't explain what had happened, and had to tell the police officer that it was us. I was furious that a children's game was terrifying me. I went to pick up the tape, but the VHS burned my hand. It felt like I had touched a Bunsen burner on the highest setting. We had to get the oven mitts from the kitchen in order to take it out, and even then, it was scorching hot. I brought it outside, tossed it down on the sidewalk, and crushed it with my winter boots. My girlfriend and I had nightmares every night. We would both wake up in the middle of the night and describe eerily similar images that we saw in our sleep. The scratching would always be there at night, when lights were off and the room was pitch black, save for the moonlight coming in through the window. Now, though, the scratching would happen every time I went near the front door, and every time we said Rap Rat's name. It sounded as if something very small was dragging something across the ground outside the door, pacing, waiting. I would simply wait, with the covers pulled up to my neck until I succumbed to exhaustion. At this point, I was determined to sue the company for damages. The first thing I did was call my mother and ask where she got the Rap Rat. She had no idea. I found a merchant who sold versions of Rap Rat and asked how I could get in touch with the company. He sent me the email. I don't know about the game, but I know it was created by the same people who created Nightmare. The company is called A Couple of Cowboys. Try them. I did a bit more research and discovered that the company became defunct in 1994, only 2 years after the company created Rap Rat. I discovered why they did soon after. How Rat Rap came to be. In 1992, the year of the game's development, a couple of cowboys had commissioned a manufacturing company in Haiti to create a doll portrayed in the game. The company who created the puppet ran a sweatshop where they forced women and children to produce the various components of the puppet, including the felt and plastic of the doll. One day, a young Haitian girl got her arm caught in the industrial sewing machine. The spring loader, unable to handle the weight on the machine, came loose and struck the child's neck, killing her instantly. A few days after the funeral, the mother of the child came to the factory demanding to see the owner, who denied that he had anything to do with it. In a fit of rage, the mother said that the blood from the innocent would seep into every crevice of the doll, every component with which it was created, and all who touched it would die. She claimed to have summoned a fear demon, and screamed at the top of her lungs, "Apparat will curse you." The owner simply laughed and told his corporate bosses about Apparat. They spread the joke from person to person, and the game was renamed to Rap Rat, a loose anagram of Apparat. Each recitation of the name Rap Rat brought with it a greater and greater curse. Only 2 years after Rap Rat was created, the company was shut down and the owners hired by Mattel. There were stories of the workers begging for days off, skipping work for weeks and weeks, finding the puppet in strange places. Sooner were the stories of suicides, grim, violent suicides in which the workers would stab their hands and burn themselves to death, writing "I am fear" on the nearest surface with blood. Nobody knows where the Rap Rat doll went after the original creators disappeared. Some say that the last things the victims saw before going insane were large, sunken, fish-like eyes. Words of warning. Never ever say Apparat out loud. Ah, shit. Saying a demon's name out loud is an invitation to them, a calling. If you have already done this, it can't be undone. Do not try to speak to or contact Apparat. They're making me say it again. Avoid being awake between 3:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. when Rap Rat is the most likely to try to scare you. The audio. The VHS is back. I thought I stomped on it, smashed it to Kingdom Come, but it's back. I found it in my sock drawer yesterday. This time I was ready. A whole bunch of people have been trying to contact me, trying to get the tape or some sort of video from the board game. My answer to you is that it's just too dangerous. If I did that, it could very well drive you insane, scare you to death. The video and the game and Rap Rat itself has some sort of strange power. Rap Rat follows me everywhere I go. I see little shadows in the corner, or hear sounds coming from down the hallway when I'm the only one home. If Rap Rat is there, it will let you know, but it will never let you see it. Until it's too late, of course. A lot of people have been watching the normal video from the normal board game. That's the thing. Rap Rat can be normal. It will trick you into thinking it's just a puppet, and then stalk you. Day and night. And that is the story of the Rap Rat Creepypasta. Overall, the story is okay. But I hate how the story is separated like this. It's got these subtitles of different subjects, like the words of warning section, the how Rap Rat came to be section, and the terror begins. These are all separate sections, which didn't have to be. You know, if you transition it well enough, you don't even have to give it subtitles. Overall, though, I really don't like the subtitle of the words of warning section. I really didn't like that one, because the way it sounds like is that it didn't want, like, the story didn't want to be a creepypasta. I think it wanted to be an urban legend. Because only urban legends have those words of warning things. Like the story of Bloody Mary. She comes out if you call upon her 5 times in a mirror in the room all alone and shit like that. Whatever. That's something that an urban legend is about. Like, hell, Slender Man. It's like, don't go out in the woods at night with a flickering, an unreliable flashlight. Otherwise, Slenderman will come and get you. You know, that's stuff like words of warning. It's like, good God. That kind of took away from the story. I mean, I don't know what this author was really trying to go for, but it sounds like this person wanted this to be an urban legend, and instead it became a creepypasta. If that, like, knowing that, if I was the author, I'd be like, you know what, maybe I don't need these words of warning. It could have done better without it, but I'm not quite sure I like the whole, when the guy popped in the VHS the second time, he started saying, that he, like, it says here, I saw a clown, and then it goes, I saw a woman alone in a dark room, and it goes, I saw a man being forced, I saw, that's repetitive. And it starts becoming harder to read it because it can confuse the reader into thinking that the next line down in the story is, like, when they're reading, when they think they're going down and reading the next line over, it's actually the same line. I almost screwed up while I was reading it, because when I got to the part where it goes, I saw a woman alone in a dark room, and then I saw a man being forced to, then it separates to the next line down, and I almost started reading the same line I was already on. When things get repetitive like that, it gets confusing. That's my point that I'm trying to make here. There's a lot of moments where, like, everything's paused. Like, here. Then the Rap Rat came to the TV. He was, and then it's pause. Not what any of us have been expecting. I like the pause, but there was a few moments where it was a bit unnecessary. Like, this one was fine, but the other one was, the video was indescribable and had a pause there. It's just like a period point, then the word indescribable. It would be okay if it wasn't so overused in the very beginning. But however, I do like how this story is based off of a real thing. That was great, actually. That was really cool, how it was based off of something that actually existed. Like, the board game itself existed, which was really cool. I mean, I love a story that actually has some kind of reality to it. Not sure how I feel about the images, because then like the random images that start showing on the video or whatever, at that point it kind of stops being about the Rap Rat. Like, what are those images supposed to portray in the story? Like, is it supposed to be images of terror, images of sadness? I don't even know. What were those images about? What was the woman in the dark room all about? What was the guy being forced to pick up white hot metal and hold it in his outstretched hand, turning his hand into a leathery mess all about? What was that all about? Really, it doesn't make sense. What was the point of the hornet slowly stinging a person's eyeball? That started to confuse me too. I'm not sure what those were all about. I want to know more. But sadly, the story ends just the way it did. There's nothing more about it. What did it pertain to the story, though? That's what I'm trying to get at. How did that pertain? Were those the souls that Rap Rat had already claimed? I don't even know. At any rate, like I said, I like how this is based off of something like a board game that actually existed. I like how this author had picked an element of true terror, like this.
Stand up, stand up, stand up, and get down on your feet and move to the beat. Brothers and sisters, dance, dudes, yeah! Rat rat. Rat rat. Rat rat.
This is Rodent, R-O-C-K, rock.
Rat rat. Rat rat. Rat rat. Rat rat. Rat rat. Rat rat.
But hey, that's not the only terrifying thing that happened way back when. Like this. Oh yes, I'll definitely go to Chuck E. Cheese again. Actually, I still do. I still do. But seriously, would you play a game that was like this?
Busted! Who's go? Say cheese! Cheese!
That's what I thought. You don't want to go near a game that looks like this. Just no. Point is, the story's okay. I will give it a 5.5 out of 10. I was actually surprised to see that this story was actually a lot shorter than the last two that I read. Well, as usual, you like this video? Comment, share it, tell your family and friends, and if you want a story read, please let me know in the comments. Subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more stories. And if you want me to read something that you've written, then send me the link and I will read it. And if you want me to read something that I've written, then please say so as well. With that, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.